Hi, welcome to our channel. We're the Simple Teachers.
Do you need more ways to get your kids to read? Well, we have some for you today.
Yeah, today we're going to go over how to practice fluency. So we have this pack called Let's Practice Fluency, and we have some great ideas in here for you to get our students reading. But the cool thing is these things focus on the prosody elements. So that's awesome. We like to integrate what we're doing at school at home, right? So if many of us require our students to read at home, and so we have a couple different homework logs. One of the homework logs has a prosody focus. So a prosody focus meaning when they're reading at home, they need to read with smoothness, phrasing, intonation, volume, and stress, and then expression. So there's a quick definition of those for the parents and the student to remember. And then while they're reading, the directions are choose a text to reread 3 times. And after each read, they rate themselves of how they sounded when they were reading. So a 4, 3, 2, or 1. So let's say they read a book, they write the title, they read, maybe not the whole book if it's really long, but they read a portion of that book. They rate themselves the first read, they rate themselves the second read, and then they rate themselves the third read. So just by integrating maybe the shift of the focus of the read at home is huge. You know, it builds a little bit of engagement at home, sets a purpose for reading. Our purpose is to sound natural when we're reading.
Yeah.
I've had really good parent feedback on that as well. Another tip is, here's a separate homework log, is for accuracy. Maybe you have students who are struggling with accuracy. So maybe that's your focus. Good readers read words accurately when they read, and that can set a purpose for them when they're reading at home. So we have some tips on this reading log. Tip number 1, blend the sound spellings. Tip number 2, say the vowel sounds, blend. And we go through different tips of just what to do when I come to a word I don't know how to read. All students should know how to answer that question. And so same thing, just like our prosody homework log, they'll read 3 times and they'll rate themselves. Did you read all the words, most all the words correctly? Some of the words missed a lot or missed lots. So they rate themselves again, the first read, second read, third read. And by that third read, hopefully they're very accurate. So just a shift with homework reading at home can be really helpful, because it's what you're teaching in class anyways. Yeah. And for those who aren't comprehending well yet, that might be a really good tool for them.
Yeah. So instead of focusing on reading faster, because that's an outcome, we're focusing on being better readers.
Exactly.
All right, another thing we have is something we call a genre wheel, and this allows the students to try out different genres, maybe ones that they wouldn't think of or think that they wouldn't like. So if they're really set in, say, mystery reading or informational text, you can just take a pencil with a paper clip and spin it, and oh hey, I got to read a text out of a different genre, and they can color in a section as they read a different genre. So just a really easy way to keep track of different genres that they're reading.
Yep. More exposure.
Yep.
We have a couple games for you in this pack as well. One is tic-tac-toe voice style. So we have games that focus on the voice or the prosody elements. And so with these voice styles, there's different voice listed, and there's also one that's blank where you could fill in your own voices. We just want to make sure that when you're using these games, a huge tip is have your students focus on the prosody element you're teaching that week. So if your focus is smoothness for the week, when they're playing tic-tac-toe voice style, it might be their turn and they chose monster. They might be reading in a monster voice. However, even monsters read with good smoothness.
Right.
So make sure that's your focus. Teaching the prosody elements, if you missed our other fluency videos, go watch them. But teaching the prosody elements, I know for me, that day 4 or 5 of another prosody lesson can get a little monotonous. And they're like, oh my gosh, Mrs. Garrett, like, what are we doing? So just by throwing in something as simple as, we've worked so hard on reading smooth. Today, you're not going to read like yourself. You're going to read like a monster. It's a huge way to engage them.
Yeah.
But the focus is
still
your prosody element.
Yeah.
And so we're going to model one game we have in here.
Okay.
Angie's ready.
Oh, yeah.
And smoothness is our focus. So we have a game called The Voice, a fun fluency game. In here, there's voice cards. I printed these out because I have many packs in my classroom. So mine are just printed out on cardstock. They're nice and colorful in the pack. So on the front, we've got The Voice, a fluency game voice card. And on the back, there's lots of different voices. And so you can print them out black and white color. I did black and white so I can make many stacks. We won't model these today, but in there we have The Voice, a fun reading game. Reading cards. These reading cards include the Zeno sight words. So this is an option, and we actually prefer it second to the option we're going to show you. So these reading cards are just sentences with the Zeno high frequency words. So that's an option. An even more preferable choice is to play it with real books. So we have a book today, 6 Crows. We're going to model with this book. This could be done tons of different ways. We're going to show you one way, and it's the game written in our pack. But I mean, the sky's the limit. You can do so many things with these voice cards. So if they're in a center group, and say in a small group, maybe 3 or 4 kids playing a game, you could select a text. Maybe it's your main selection. Maybe it's a decodable for the week, and one judge. So we're going to let you guys, the audience, be the judge. And that judge draws a card, and that card is the voice card. And when the judge draw the card, they tell the students, read like a mouse. But don't forget, our focus is smoothness, okay? So our focus is smoothness. So we read like a mouse. That's reading with smoothness. Excellent. So each child then that is not the judge would get a turn to read. You set the standard. Maybe it's a couple sentences, maybe it's a page. Every book is different, so we don't know. For this book, it's short on each page. So we're going to each read a page, and you guys be the judge of who read best. Smoothness like a mouse. Don't forget the prosody element.
Pressure's on. All right, here I go.
Okay.
Life would have been good and happy were it not for 6 noisy crows who nested in a tree nearby.
Judges, my turn. Life would have been good and happy were it not for 6 noisy crows who nested in a tree nearby. We're really good readers.
Yeah.
No.
Your mouse sounded a little better than mine.
So that's the game. But for students in our class, we might hear something like this. Life would have been good and happy. The judges would not choose that student because they did not read with smoothness like a mouse. So if we keep the focus on the prosody element, these cards then stay highly effective. Otherwise, they'll be practicing choppy reading maybe. It'll get goofy. So keep the focus on the prosody element.
Yep, always.
And then they can switch roles, switch who's the judge. The next judge draws the card. You can turn the page. The students read the next page.
Like a pirate.
Read like a pirate. So there we go. All right.
All right, prosody element focus, practice reading, read, read, read. And we do have to motivate them to keep reading.
Yeah.
So a little bit of creativity, but keep your focus on what's important.
Exactly. Well, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you've subscribed to our channel if you haven't. Like this video, share this video. We hope you enjoy teaching prosody elements in your classroom. Thank you.
Simply teach.